This is to the BBC. This is to every single mainstream media. I mean, come on, enough, enough, enough. 74 years of this, enough, really enough. It is about time that you report the truth. It's limitless. This is limitless simply because most of these people you saw in Jerusalem marching yesterday with Israeli flags, supported and protected by the Israeli occupation army, most of them come from the illegal colonies in the West Bank, deep in the West Bank. So already those are fanatics who believe in the entire ethnic cleansing of Palestine, who are racist at heart, who nurture bigotry, and who are absolutely raised to the highest standards of incitement against anybody who's not like them, primarily, of course, the Palestinian Muslims and Christians. My take is international media, not all of them, but the mainstream ones, are complicit and complacent in the injustice that has been inflicted on us for 74 years and ongoing. Look at yesterday, Sunday, the so-called march. Look at the BBC and their coverage of the story. You will see the headline that tension is high in Jerusalem because of Israeli youth flag march. That's the headline. I mean, how could this be more twisted? This was not a march by youth, but a march by illegal settlers, and illegal according to the laws of this country that the BBC serves, the United Kingdom. And this was not a march to celebrate a legality, but a march to celebrate an illegality, a military occupation of East Jerusalem, again, according to the UK policy and international resolutions and law. And this was a march that brought fanatics to the streets and shops and homes of the people in Jerusalem, our people, the Palestinian people. Fanatics that would chant death to the Palestinians, that would celebrate the murder of Shireen Abu Akleh, that would spread gas, pepper gas into the eyes of elderly women, elderly people. Those are hooligans rather than youth, and they are doing something that is illegal, and they are also desecrating the holy site of Al-Aqsa. The BBC should have put its own audience in perspective, in context, but failing to do so is aiding the situation to continue. And again, the BBC about Shireen Abu Akleh, and not just the BBC, most of these Western outlets would report the death of a Palestinian journalist as if she died of natural causes. They would quote the Israeli spin that she might have been killed by a Palestinian fire. At least they would not take our version, the version of the truth, by the people who were next to Shireen, by the Palestinian journalists who said from day one, from minute one, that she was targeted. So, and then media, first impression is last. So people will not dig into the story 10 days, 15 days from now. It would be the first impression. And always the first impression is really wrong. Clashes, always. There are clashes in Jerusalem, clashes in Ramallah, clashes in Gaza, clashes between who and who? Who is the aggressor here? Who is the occupier here? Why not the BBC come out and tell its own audience that this is an occupied city, that East Jerusalem is an occupied city, that allowing these people to actually undermine the internationally agreed about status quo is an illegality, that these people are provoking the local residents, Palestinian Christians and Muslims, they are provoking their national identity by flying that flag in their narrow streets, by actually attacking them physically, by downing their flag, their national flag. So all of a sudden, it's just the Palestinians are reacting to a youth flag march. She gave us, myself included, and thousands of people, the opportunity to feel how united the people of Palestine are, how beautiful the people of Palestine are, how resilient we are. What a scene of unity. Shireen has also managed to bring all that. But also, on the other hand, to show the world the ugliness of the other side. To show the world that not only they have killed her and targeted kill her, but also they went after her casket, her funeral, her burial, her pallbearers, her mourners, and I was one of them. In all traditions, throughout history, there is one common thing between all of us human beings: the respect for the dead. The respect, even during wars, they open special corridors for the dead. The respect for the body, the respect for the mourners, even that Israel had no space for. And for them, this is the moment. They feel this is their moment. After Trump, and he simply just checked all the Israeli right-wing list, Netanyahu and the settlers, and then Biden comes and he does absolutely nothing to reverse what Trump did. In fact, one would argue that Biden has simply let Israel do what it wants. Unfortunately, some of their calculations is right. There is very little consequences coming from the outside. But fortunately, their calculation vis-a-vis us, the people of Palestine, is so wrong. Because such a people, that is the people of Palestine, such model of resilience and resistance is inspiring many people. While we don't have much hope of governments, we have a lot of hope that this movement between the grassroots in Palestine and the grassroots worldwide is going to produce soon the South Africa moment. Remember, all of us need to remember that until very late in the game, Western governments, including the US and the UK, did not really heed the calls to impose sanctions on the apartheid South Africa. It was late in the game when they had to, because of the pressure of the public, of the people, of Britain, of the US, of Europe, and everywhere. That pressure is mounting, that public awareness is happening, despite the complicity of the international traditional media, despite the complicity of governments, despite the attempts by the social media to block Palestinian content and to over-enforce the so-called rules on our voices. Despite all that, the truth is coming out.